everybody. Are limiting beliefs and negative thoughts getting you down? Are you stuck in maybe a dead-end job, a bad relationship, just not living your full purpose? Are you struggling to meet those goals that you keep saying you want, but you aren't doing the things that you need to do to achieve them? You are not alone, because so many people struggle with this, and it's all because of the limiting beliefs that we have, or the negative thoughts that then kind of tell the story about our limiting beliefs. And so often these negative thoughts and limiting beliefs come from the stories that we were told about ourselves, maybe from our childhood or from a partner or a sibling, who knows who. Maybe they just are stories that you made up about yourself. Maybe nobody told you them, but you told them to yourself. And so you kind of ran with it. And oftentimes what happens is it creates that snowball effect that then builds upon itself and upon itself and upon itself, and creates more negative thoughts and more limiting beliefs, and just digging that hole even deeper and keeping you down below. So I really wanted to talk about this because so many of the women that I talk to in my community are struggling with this, including myself. I've been there too. I've said the same things too. I've had the self-doubt. I've thought, I can't be successful, or I'm not a good mom, or I don't know I'm not good at math. I've done the same exact things, and I know how limiting it is. That's why it's called a limiting belief, right? I know how much of a oppression almost that feels like. I know how stuck it makes you feel, and that you kind of feel like you're in chains. And that's why I really want us to help us break free from this and really just open up our world, get a little clarity around it, and begin to step our way out into freedom. So I wanted to talk about it today and bring your attention to this cool little exercise. It doesn't take very long at all. You, of course, can make it take as long as you want. You can dive into it and make it take a little bit longer. You can do it quickly, however you want. But in a few minutes' time, you literally can kind of identify those limiting beliefs and negative thoughts that you are prone to and what are the most prevalent for you, and then begin to walk through the steps of changing them. Okay, so you guys ready? So when you guys have a chance, I want you to do it with me either now, or if you're watching the replay, grab a pen and paper and just join me and walk along with this quick exercise so you can see how easy it is. And then if you want to follow up and do it again where you have a little bit more time, maybe you need 20 minutes to kind of sit with this stuff, or an hour, and do a little meditation around it, that's perfectly fine too. But here's how it goes. I want you to write down the first thing that comes to mind when you hear these set statements to complete the sentence. So the first thing that comes to mind to complete each of these sentences: I am, I have to, I can't, I have never been, relationships are, work is. So the first thing that comes to mind with each of those statements: I am, I have to, I can't, I have never been, relationships are, and work is. Now, there are a lot of other phrases we could add to this, but this is the quick version of this exercise. And I think that there's a lot to it that could come out if you ask yourself these phrases, jot down what's the first thing you hear when you to complete those sentences when you hear those phrases. Okay? Next, I want you to ask yourself, and write down the answers because it's important, the following questions. What am I getting from this belief? What impact does it have on my life? What would I rather believe? So, what am I getting from this belief? What impact does it have on my life? And what would I rather have the belief be? Okay, so the first questions are completing those statements: I am, I can't, I have never been, relationships are, work is. And then we're going to take it to the next level. Write down the answers to these questions. What am I getting from this belief? What impact does this have on my life? And what would I rather have the belief be? Okay, do you have those? Now I want you to write down the belief on, if you have it on a piece of paper, you can do it now, maybe do it again later. Ultimately, I want you to write them down on like sticky notes, right? And find some fun sticky notes, like the colored ones or the lined ones or the heart-shaped ones or whatever. Find some fun sticky notes. And I want you to write down the answers that you said to those sentences, the completion of those sentences. Write them down on the sticky notes, and then I want you to below write down the answers to write down what you would rather have the belief be. What would the correct belief be? What would the belief you would like to acquire be? So the first one is the negative belief, or the answer to the statements I am, I can't, I have never been, relationships are, work is. Those sentences, you're going to write them out. And then below that, I want you to rewrite it to the belief you want to acquire. Okay? So we're going to cross out the first sentence. You're going to literally put a line through it, the first sentence, cross it out. And then you're just going to be left with the sentence of the belief you want to acquire. Okay, so you're going to have the sticky notes. You can put more than one belief on the sticky note if you want. I like to when I did this myself, I kind of made them a little bit larger than I would normally write, maybe just because I wanted to be able to see it. And even through the line, I wanted to be able to see the negative belief through the line, and most importantly, see the new belief. Okay, so for example, I'm not good at school. You could rewrite that as, if I work really hard, I can learn anything. Because that's true, right? And especially now with technology, we have YouTube and Google and online courses and tutors and so many things. Like, we can literally learn anything. Now, we might not become proficient at like engineering if you're not an engineer, or, plumbing, but you know what? I learned how to change a bathroom faucet from YouTube, and I have literally never done anything with plumbing in my life. So I'm not good at school. Crossing that out, rewriting it. If I work hard, I can learn anything I need to. Okay? Next, you could write, I have never been good at socializing with friends. Or I've never been good at attention to detail. Or I can't talk to my husband and be vulnerable. Or relationships are hard. Or work is too stressful. Or I can't handle it. You're going to rewrite those with the beliefs that you would rather have them be. I think you're getting the message here now, right? Give me a little head nod or a little comment that says, yes, you're getting it. Okay, so you guys got your sticky notes. You got your negative thought on there, you're crossing it out with a line, and then you are rewriting what the belief is. So I want you to give this a try, okay? I want you to try it now. If you don't have a pen and paper, if you're in your car, if you're at work or something, just remember this exercise or come back to the replay later and do it when you have a few minutes, because it really is powerful. When you start to see this stuff on paper, when you take it outside your head and put it on the paper and then you see it and you're like, I actually have been carrying this around. And sometimes even when you see it on the paper, it kind of jogs you into reality, and you can say that's actually not true. I'm not good at school might actually not be true. Maybe you weren't a straight A student, but maybe you were average, or maybe you were okay, but that doesn't mean you can't learn. Does that make sense? So sometimes when we see it on paper, it helps us to realize oh gosh, I really am kind of out of reality here. These are not true. And I want you to just spend a little bit of time rewriting them. And I want you to really notice, how does it feel when you're doing this exercise? What does it feel like to answer those original statements, that whole I can, no, I am, I have to, I can't, I've never been, relationships are, and work is. What does it feel like when you're answering those questions? Can you feel it somewhere in your body? What kind of thoughts are coming up as you're doing it? Is it feeling anger, sadness, confusion, disappointment, resentment, anything? Just maybe jot those down too. And then when you're rewriting them, when you're asking yourself those questions, what am I getting from this belief? So if I'm sitting around believing, I can't be vulnerable in my relationships, what am I getting from that? Well, I don't really think I'm getting anything except for the fact that I'm not going to be able to get close to people. I'm not going to have the personal connections with people that we were designed as human beings to create and enjoy. If I close myself off to relationships and I don't allow myself to be vulnerable, I might not find my voice with people. I might not speak up about things that I want or need. And that's really limiting. That's a limiting belief. What impact does that have on my life? Well, it might create a lot of loneliness. It might create disengagement. It might create a feeling of people don't like me, or I'm not valuable, or I'm unlovable. There's all kinds of paths that could go down. You see what I'm talking about? So I want you to spend a little bit of time with that, and then I want you to rewrite them, okay? And you don't always have to 100% believe the new belief all the way, okay? It could just be something you're kind of striving towards. So you might not believe all the way that I can learn anything I need to, but you can kind of get your head around the concept, or you might not believe all the way that I can speak up for myself and ask for what I need. You maybe don't believe that you can right now, but you believe that you could baby step your way into that. Okay, so we don't have to fully embrace the new belief right away. If you can, hey, that's great. Then good for you. More power to you. You're going to be on your way to meeting your goals and achieving your dreams and building that life that's going from good to great, well past some others. So that's amazing. I want to know how you feel when you're doing this exercise, okay? I posted it in my personal page. I'll just show you right now. Here is my Post-it note, negative beliefs exercise, okay? I posted it in my personal page on my profile. If you want to jump over there and see, the content of this entire exercise is provided right there in my page. You can read that as well. And the picture of my own limiting beliefs. So Melissa, you said you still feel scared. What are you scared of? Are you willing to say? Sometimes when we start talking about this work, because it's easier. It feels easier. Sometimes it feels like the easier, softer way to stay in our limiting beliefs. Sometimes it feels like, it's going to be the glue that keeps us together by just not dealing with this stuff and staying in our negative beliefs, not trying, because we're afraid, right? Are you afraid? You're afraid of the anxiety. Okay. And so what if you get anxious? What does it mean if you get anxious? Why is that scary? I'm just curious. For some people, it's scary because your physical body starts to get activated, right? Your physical response to anxiety is so extreme. Your chest is tight, your breathing starts to get shallow, your stomach is sick, and you feel like you're out of control, and you begin to get into that panic attack. So that's really scary. Yeah, you start worrying about your breathing. So when you're worried about your breathing, so then you're focused on that breathing, and the fear and the limiting belief that you can't take control of your anxiety takes over and doesn't allow you to use the skills that you have. So what is the fastest way to take control of your anxiety response? The first sign of it, when you first start to feel it, what is the fastest way? What do I talk about all the time? Focus on the breath, right? You've been focusing on your breath for 2 months, you said. So when you focus on your breath, it grounds you. It starts to bring you clarity. When you focus on your breath and you do this deep belly breaths in through the nose, deep down into the belly, and you feel it all the way up, and then you slowly exhale for 7 to 10 counts. You can deep breath into the nose. I breathe in love and light. Slowly exhale stress and tension. I'm breathing in calm and peace. And breathing out stress and anxiety. But you have to do it really regularly. You have to do it. You said you've been focusing on your breath for 2 months. So have you added in the affirmation piece? What else besides just the breath have you been focused on? Anxiety is a complex thing, and our thoughts are a huge part of it. And it's a misnomer, and it's false information to say that we cannot take control of it, because we can. And a lot of the taking control of it, if you've read that Dare book, he talks about it in there, is accepting and acknowledging the anxiety when it comes in. And so when it comes in at the first sign of it, starting to acknowledge it, yeah, hey, anxiety, I feel you. I feel my chest tightening. I feel my breath getting shallow. I feel it. And you know what? I'm going to allow and accept this to happen, because I know I'm not going to die. So you're feeling like, I will never stop thinking about breathing. Does that mean you feel like you're worried that you're going to stop breathing? Or tell me more about that. Feeling like I will never stop thinking about breathing. So breath is a huge part of our focus around anxiety healing because it's always with us. We always have it with us. It's a tool that we always can use to ground ourselves and bring our focus back to our bodies and our minds and slow down the physical response of anxiety. So, you're messing up the rhythm. So, say more about that, because I don't think you can mess up your rhythm, because everybody's body has its own rhythm, right? So if you're a deep breath in slowly into your mouth, into your nose, deep down into your belly, there's only just one big deep full breath down into your belly. You can fill it up. Put your hands on your belly, let your belly fill up, and you can feel it filling up. Slowly exhale through your mouth, 7 to 10 counts, slowly. Okay? And so your regular breath just goes about however it's supposed to go. It's the rhythm of your body, the rhythm of your particular body. When we start to feel the stress and anxiety, we want to slow that response down, and that's why we use those deep belly breaths, to bring our attention to the breath, to get ourselves off of the focus of the tension and the stress. If you're saying that your breath is the focus of your tension and stress, then I would ask yourself to begin to question, why am I worried about the rhythm of my breath? Because my body was perfectly designed to function in all of these involuntary ways exactly the way it's supposed to. So if you're questioning the rhythm of your breath, you're kind of saying that your body doesn't know how to take care, that your body doesn't know what to do. And those are involuntary responses. That would be like saying, I'm going to question the rhythm of my heart, or that my heart isn't beating properly. Well, unless you have some kind of heart condition that's been documented by a medical provider, your heart knows how to beat on its own. It was designed perfectly to learn how to beat on its own, and it does that every single day. Same with the breath. So the breath that I'm talking about coming into tension when we have the physical response is beginning to use that breath to slow down our body and slow down the anxiety. Because once we slow down the physical response, that we can take control of our minds. We take control of our minds with using affirmations, the stop sign technique, some other cognitive behavioral techniques to really slow down that response. This exercise that I just shared with you is a type of that. It's just going a little bit deeper. What you're talking about is a little bit more of in the moment response. But what this exercise is all about is taking it a little deeper. What can I do to move forward with my life and reduce anxiety and move my life from good to great without the limiting beliefs? How can I get rid of those doubt, the self-doubt, the negativity, the I can'ts, the I won'ts. Oh, my other favorite thing that I really wanted to tell you guys is replacing the I can't with I won't. I was just kind of focused on this week, and some great stuff was coming up for me. Sometimes we get into that I can't mode, and I don't want to say too much about it because I think I'm going to talk about this next week, but we really want to try to switch that into I won't, because really whenever we're saying I can't, all we're really saying is I won't. Because you can do most things. So maybe you can't, maybe right now you're not able to run a marathon, but you certainly can do a couch to 5K program that then leads you to running a 10K, that then leads you to running a half marathon, that leads you to a marathon. So see what I'm saying there? So if we place those I can'ts with I won'ts, what we're really saying is, whenever we say I can't, what we're really saying is I don't really want to. It's not that important to me. Because anything that's really, really important to you, we'll figure it out. If your doctor said, you had to spend 2 hours a day in quiet meditation or you're going to die, in 2 months, I bet you anything, you'd probably figure out how to spend 2 hours a day in quiet meditation because you don't want to die, So see what I'm saying? So really, we will find time, money, and resources for whatever the things that are really important to us. The rest of the stuff, we start using the I can'ts, and it's kind of just an excuse for I won't, but it's easier to say I can't. All right, so does anybody have any questions about that exercise? So we're going to ask yourself those questions to complete those sentences that I gave you. Write them down on the piece of paper, replace them with the belief that's more positive and affirming and realistic moving forward. Cross out the negative belief on your piece of paper and leave the one below as the positive, and post them up around your house, right? Or in your car, or take a screenshot of it and post it in this group. I would love to see you guys post this exercise in the group. And I think the rest of the women in this group really need to see it too. That's why I shared mine, because I want you guys to know that I'm doing the same work. I'm doing the same stuff that I talk about, because I have the same limiting beliefs and negative thoughts that everybody else does. Maybe they're not the same as yours, but I struggle with them just like anybody else. And I've had to do the work to get around them and over them and through them and switch them into the positive. And so when they come up, I need those reminders. I need to see those sticky notes to say, oops, that's not actually true, and focus on the positive one. So when you do this exercise, post those sticky notes up. I just taped mine on the wall in my office, took a picture of it, and posted it in my Facebook page this morning. So I would love for you guys to do the same. Take a picture of them, post them in the group. If anybody has any more questions, if anybody wants to talk, Melissa, if you want to chat, you can PM me. I would happy to continue that conversation over private message. If anybody else has any questions, send me a message. I'm happy to follow up or leave a comment below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So have a great day, guys, and enjoy your weekend. It's a beautiful sunny day here, even though it's freezing, and I'm looking forward to getting outside a little bit, even though it's cold. You guys do the same. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.